Alright, good morning guys. We're back on the F350 here, and I got a patch in the wheel arch of the passenger side bed, and we'll take a look at that real quick. We're getting ready to put some fiberglass over my welds, so we'll give you guys a shot of that and go from there. Alright, here's what we got. Just had a little hole there. I cut out a spot about the size of a $50 and put a patch in there, and got some welds on her and some 36 grit scratch in that to put some fiberglass over to try and waterproof those welds up. So we'll go mix some fiberglass filler and get that applied. I'll give you guys a shot of that. So see you in a second. Alright, we got our fiberglass mixed up, and we're going to start trying to press it down in this weld area here. You always want to press it tight into your scratch so that it has something to bond to good. That should waterproof that up, so we'll go with that. We'll let that dry, and then we'll hit it with some 80 and knock it down just enough so I can get some lightweight in there and finish her off. Alright, catch you guys in a little bit. Alright, we're back onto the driver's side wheel arch opening on the bed, and we got all that cut out, all the nasty rot, mostly pinholes, but rot nonetheless. So we got that all opened up. Got some weld-through primer on the back of it to try and inhibit that rust. We wire wheeled all that out the best we could get to it. So try and give it at least one more thing, and we put this weld-through primer here on it. You spray that, a couple light coats on your patch, which, here's our patch. This is the back side. It actually sets in there like this. That will be welded in little by little, just spot welds. Alternating sides on which I'm welding on it so that I don't really warp the heck out of it. So we're waiting for that primer to dry. You gotta give it 15 or 20 minutes, and it's not real warm here in the shop, so we'll let that dry, and we'll get some spot welds on this one and get it ready to put some fiberglass over. So I'll see you guys in a bit. Alright, we're getting some patch put in this driver's side wheel opening on the F350 using the Miller-Matic 180 AutoSet welder. I don't know what you guys think about it. Any of you have ever used the AutoSet feature? For welding body sheet metal, I still like to fine-tune it. It just doesn't seem to get me where I want to be. Plus, the Miller, this 180 welder has a slow start for an anti-spatter on it, and it just kind of throws you off, especially when it's on AutoSet, because it takes it a second to figure out what it's doing. So, at any rate, we'll show you the progress on what's going on here. Alright, we have the patch in, put in through the back side. You guys saw the weld-through primer on it. And now we've tacked it into place and have already started filling in the gaps. And when you do this, you kind of alternate back and forth so you don't warp. So, you know, you put a tack here, and then you put a tack over here, and then you put a tack down here. And try and keep your tacks alternated away from one another, and then you take your blowgun and give them a cool down when you're done with each spot weld. Helps to keep the metal from warping. This is like 18 gauge steel, so it's not real thick. Warps real easy. So we just basically go and connect the dots, fill it all in, and then we'll grind it down and get this side ready to put some waterproof filler and some fiberglass. So we'll be back. Alright, let's see what we got here. I got a little bit more grinding to do, but we got most of those welds taken down. I got to go a little bit farther and then tap it in so I can get my fiberglass in there, but that's what we got for that patch. And I started grinding on this end down here to the right, and lo and behold, I barely touched that with the grinder, and I opened up some pinholes, tapped it with the hammer, and got another big hole. So I think I better add about another 6 inches to this. I thought I had it all, but those are the surprises you get when you're doing this kind of stuff, especially when you're talking about rust. So that's what we got so far on this side. Let's take a little peek at the other side. I got my fiberglass sanded down a little bit. I need to feather edge that paint back so that I can put my lightweight filler in there, but it's definitely low enough. We're going to go with that for now and see where we end up on it. So I'm going to get at it tomorrow, probably work on it for a couple hours tomorrow, but we got New Year's coming up, parties and all that kind of stuff, so we'll try and get as much done as we can tomorrow, and otherwise be back on it Monday. So guys, have a good weekend, and we'll see you on the next one. Later. Alright guys, we're back on the job with the F350, getting ready to put some fiberglass filler over our welds. Finished up that excuse me, driver's side bed wheel opening, so I'll show you what we got here. We're using that stuff right there. It's kind of a combination of short and long strand fiberglass. It works pretty good. I don't know if you guys have an opinion about this stuff. Leave a comment if you do. It's not the easiest to spread, but the price is right for the type of jobs I'm doing, so this is what we use for a waterproof. It is fiberglass, like I said, so we're going to mix some of that up here in a minute, but we'll go out and take a look at our welds, see what we got. Alright, I got a piece of couple pieces of 3/4 tape on top of that body line so I don't smear fiberglass all over my unsanded paint. But that's what we got. It's tapped in to accept the fiberglass to cover up and waterproof those welds. So we're going to get that mixed up and put a smear on there and get that all waterproofed up. Talk to you in a few, guys. Later. Alright guys, while we're waiting for all that fiberglass filler to kick off on the driver's side, I'm going to do a little cleaning on this passenger bedside. I've already wiped it down once, and it's got a bunch of dings and stuff in it, and I wasn't going to fix them. The owner doesn't want them fixed, but between that and the sand scratches and the peeling single stage paint on it, I think I'm going to give it a wipe down and hit it with the DA. So I'll take you guys along for the ride on this for a little bit and see how that goes. So we'll get to her here. We got our white balls and our wax and grease remover, so I've already gone over it once, but who only knows what's been going on with this. So we're going to give it some more wipe down action here. Just don't trust it. And if you're wondering what this orange marker is, that's an auto writer marker, and I just sort of use that to outline the body damage for the owner so he could sort of see the type of stuff that I wanted to work on. But he didn't seem to have any interest in fixing it, which is okay. It is a work truck, but I don't think I'm going to let it go. I don't like letting stuff like that roll out of my shop, especially for a good friend. I want to make sure that it looks right, so we'll do the best that we can on this. And this is not exactly the right way to be wiping one down, but I need to go over it a couple times. I should be chasing this with a dry towel, a dry wipe all that is, to make sure that all that wax and grease remover gets off before I start sanding on it. Otherwise we'll just grind all that garbage right into the sand scratches and then we'll have problems later. So we'll just keep after it here and get the first layer of scuzz off of it. I did wash it with some dish soap and all that before we started on it. Hope you guys are getting geared up for the new year here. Hope everybody's doing well. We're just trying to get as much of this kind of stuff done as we can. I do snow plowing, and around us we haven't seen much of that. So the old winter income is I wouldn't say nil, but it's very, very scarce right now. So we'll do the stuff that I consider to be fun stuff because I don't do it every day and I enjoy it. Sort of my little getaway. A little bit about my background. I started doing this, I was probably 15 or 14 years old, did my first vehicle. Had a painter that lived up the street and he gave me some pointers and helped me out along the way. We did my first paint job on that. It was a short bed F-150, about an 80, I think it was an 85. Didn't turn out too bad. And I enjoyed it at the time. Didn't have the money as a kid to pay somebody to do it. And I had all the will in the world at that time to do the job, so that's how we got started into this. And I've just been doing it for friends and family sort of ever since. I know you guys that do this for a living probably enjoy the same perils I do in my landscaping line of business. You deal with customers that don't like to pay their bills or take forever to pay their bills, and you almost can't ever make them happy. But we do our best, try and keep people satisfied with the work that we do. We always try and do a little extra. Sometimes they notice, sometimes they don't. But I guess that's all part of the game. Boy, this thing has got some creases and all kinds of goodies in it. So, alright, now that we got this wiped down, I will probably hit this whole bedside again, wipe it with a dry one, and I think I'm going to hit this bedside with some 500 or 600 and try and get rid of some of these sand scratches. So I'll be back with you in a minute, guys. Alright guys, what have I done now? Well, due to all the little dings and sand scratches in these bedsides, I started opening it up with 800 to see if I could get rid of them, but some of those scratches look like they're about a 220 scratch, maybe even worse. So I opened it up, wiped it back down, and there's some guide code on there that'll help me find all my scratches. So that's what we got going on for now. Go back over to the driver's side of this truck. Oh yeah, we got some fiberglass in there. I started knocking that back down. I think I got a little high spot somewhere right in here. I run my hand over it and feel it. I warped it a little bit. Tried not to, but this metal is so thin, guys. I mean, you just got to be real careful. And anyway, so that's what we got going on here. Now, I had a question the other day about my first video, what kind of air compressor I run and things about grinders and tools and things like that. So real quick for that guy or girl, not sure, but I'm guessing it's a guy. I can't remember your name. I'd have to look up on my phone on my YouTube to see what the question, who the user was. So I'll show you real quick what I use to scuff and grind welds and do all that kind of stuff with. You got this tool right here. This is a rust wheel on a cheapy Harbor Freight die grinder. They work fine. Most body guys don't oil their tools anyway, so I'd rather buy the throwaway ones than spend $200 or $150 on one of those. And then I got another one. It's companion here. That's got a wire wheel on it for cleaning out the weld slag and the burn and stuff around the welds, because you want to get that real clean. Have this other, I think it's a Campbell Hausfeld, and I think that's a 24 grit disc on there. I use that for grinding welds, but you got to be careful. Not only will you blow right through the metal, but you can overheat it if you're grinding too long. So there's that guy, and I actually have that disc cut down. They start to wear on the edges first, so I take the bigger backup pad off and then grind or cut the pad down so I have a fresh edge on it and reuse it on that. So there's a little tip for you guys. I'm sure the pro guys know those tips, but maybe the do-it-yourselfer guys don't. See if I can't find the other handheld grinder that I use. I'm sure it's laying around here somewhere. Okay, here's a little 3-inch. That's got a 24 grit disc on it. I use that for polishing welds up and grinding them down before we go ahead and apply the fiberglass filler. So we got that guy right there. This guy's also a Harbor Freight cheapie. For the money, when they have their sales, these are like 10 bucks a piece. They work great. I do have an IR. I had a Blue Point. They all work great, but I try and keep them out of the body shop because I use them for other things, and they've been oiled, and I don't want that mess in the body shop. DA, I have this little Palm Ingersoll Rand with a 6-inch backup pad, so we use that. We got air file here for knocking down the heavier stuff. Don't use it very much because, I mean, it's just, it'll wear you out using one of those all day if you got anything big, but they're nice to knock down the heavy stuff, and then I go ahead and use a hand block and finish blocking up. But that's what we got for some of the hand tools, just to answer your question there. And last but not least, I don't know if we'll see it, it's pretty dark in here, but here's my compressor. It's a 80-gallon twin stage. This one's a Sanborn. I don't even believe this company's in business anymore. I think Pisser's got a compressor like this. I've had this compressor since I did my first vehicle. My father had purchased it, and he had handed it down to me. Just got to keep the air filter clean on them and keep your oil changed in them, because all the dust and garbage in the body shop, I try and keep it out of the way so it's not sucking up all that garbage, but still. And then we got our water drain right down there. So that's it for the compressor. So to answer those questions up, I hope you guys have a great new year, and be safe out there, and we'll catch you on the next one.